In a stunning move that has sent shockwaves through the global defense industry, Japan, the United Kingdom, and Italy have announced plans to dramatically accelerate the joint development of a next-generation stealth fighter jet. This ambitious trilateral project, known as the Global Combat Air Program, GCAP, aims to produce a cutting-edge aircraft that will replace Japan's aging F-2 fighters and the Eurofighter Typhoons currently used by the UK and Italy. But with geopolitical tensions rising and the clock ticking down to the planned 2035 deployment date, the pressure is on for this unprecedented international collaboration to deliver results. Can these unlikely allies overcome cultural differences, technological hurdles, and budgetary constraints to produce a fighter that will dominate the skies for decades to come? Or will internal divisions and external threats cause the project to flame out before it ever takes flight? East meets West. How Japan became the surprising leader of a European defense project. In a startling turn of events that has upended the traditional power dynamics of the global aerospace industry, Japan has emerged as the driving force behind GCAP. Despite being the newcomer to the project compared to longtime European partners UK and Italy, Japan has taken a leadership role that few would have predicted just a few years ago. The clearest sign of Japan's ascendance came with the announcement that former Japanese Vice Minister of Defense Masami Oka will serve as the first chief executive of GIGO, the international body overseeing GCAP's development. This puts a Japanese official in the pilot's seat of one of the most ambitious multinational defense projects in history. But how did an island nation with strict limitations on military development end up spearheading a European fighter program? The answer lies in a combination of economic might, technological prowess, and strategic necessity. For decades, Japan's defense industry was constrained by a pacifist constitution that severely restricted arms exports and international military cooperation. But faced with growing threats from China and North Korea, Japan has moved aggressively in recent years to bolster its defensive capabilities and forge new security partnerships beyond its traditional alliance with the United States. But Japan's leadership role has also raised eyebrows and concerns. Some European officials worry that ceding too much control to Japan could weaken the continent's own aerospace sector in the long run. And there are questions about whether Japan's still evolving military export policies could create roadblocks down the line. For now, though, Japan appears to be in the cockpit of this ambitious project. Whether that produces a smooth flight or turbulence ahead remains to be seen. Flying foxes versus fawning felines. Will cultural clashes doom the fighter of the future? As the GCAP project ramps up, defense insiders are buzzing about an unexpected obstacle that could imperil the entire endeavor: a clash of workplace cultures between the Japanese and European teams. Sources close to the project report growing tensions stemming from divergent management styles and communication norms. The Japanese contingent, dubbed the Flying Foxes for their strategic and methodical approach, have reportedly clashed with the more freewheeling British and Italian engineers known as the Fawning Felines. The Japanese teams meticulously plan every aspect of the project months in advance and expect rigid adherence to schedules and protocols, said one anonymous GCAP engineer. Meanwhile, the Brits and Italians prefer to improvise and make decisions on the fly. It's a recipe for conflict. These cultural friction points extend beyond just work styles. Everything from meeting etiquette to socializing norms have become contentious issues threatening to derail cooperation. The Japanese consider it rude to eat or drink during meetings, while the Europeans see nothing wrong with munching on snacks, the source continued. And don't even get me started on the disagreements over after-work drinks. The Brits and Italians see it as crucial for team bonding, but many Japanese engineers feel uncomfortable with the alcohol-centric socializing. While such issues may seem trivial compared to the technical challenges of developing a sixth-generation fighter jet, insiders warn that these cultural clashes could seriously impede progress if left unaddressed. Some managers have proposed team-building exercises and cultural sensitivity training to bridge the divide. But skeptics argue that the fundamental differences in work culture may prove impossible to fully reconcile in the limited time frame. As the clock ticks down to key development milestones, the question remains, can the flying foxes and fawning felines set aside their differences and find common ground? Or will culture clash cause this lofty project to nosedive before it ever takes flight? From samurai swords to supersonic jets, how an ancient sword-making technique could revolutionize fighter design. In a twist straight out of a sci-fi movie, Japanese engineers working on GCAP have proposed incorporating traditional sword-making techniques to solve one of the most vexing challenges in modern fighter design. The issue revolves around the need to create airframe components that are both incredibly strong and heat-resistant, yet light enough to allow for the extreme maneuverability required in air combat. Conventional metal alloys and even advanced composites have struggled to meet these competing demands. But a team of metallurgists at Mitsubishi Heavy Industries believe they've found an unlikely solution in the ancient art of katana forging. The technique known as tamahagane involves repeatedly folding and hammering steel to create a blade with a unique crystalline structure combining hardness and flexibility. By adapting the tamahagane process to modern alloys, we believe we can create airframe components with an unprecedented strength-to-weight ratio, said Dr. Kenji Tanaka, lead researcher on the project. Initial tests have been extremely promising. If successful, this fusion of ancient craftsmanship and cutting-edge materials science could give GCAP a significant edge over competing next-gen fighter programs. But it has also raised concerns among some European partners about over-reliance on proprietary Japanese techniques. It's fascinating technology, but we need to ensure that production can be shared among all partner nations, said one British aerospace executive who requested anonymity. We can't have a situation where only Japanese sword masters can forge critical components. As the debate rages on, one thing is clear. The spirit of the samurai may soon be soaring through the skies at supersonic speeds. Hackers in the hangar? Cyber espionage fears cast shadow over fighter project. As if the technical and cultural challenges weren't enough, the GCAP project now faces a new threat from the shadowy world of cyber espionage. Intelligence agencies have detected a surge in hacking attempts targeting the companies and research institutions involved in the fighter's development, raising fears that rival powers may be trying to steal valuable design data. While officials refuse to publicly name suspects, cybersecurity experts point to China and Russia as the most likely culprits. Both nations are working on their own next-generation fighters and would have much to gain from pilfering GCAP's closely guarded innovations. We're seeing incredibly sophisticated attacks using zero-day exploits and social engineering tactics, said Emma Clark, a London-based cybersecurity consultant advising the project. It's clear that state-level actors are throwing massive resources at compromising GCAP. The cyber threat has forced the implementation of stringent new security protocols, including air-gapped computer networks and extreme limitations on remote work. But some fear these measures could hamper the international collaboration that is central to the project's success. How can we foster the free exchange of ideas when engineers can't even check their email from home? Lamented one frustrated Italian programmer. These restrictions are slowing us down tremendously. Others worry that even with best-in-class cyber defenses, determined hackers may eventually find a way in. The nightmare scenario of China or Russia unveiling a suspiciously familiar fighter design looms large over the project. For now, GCAP officials insist that their most sensitive data remains secure. But in the high-stakes world of military aviation, today's unbreakable encryption could be tomorrow's open book. The race is on to bring the next-gen fighter to life before its secrets take flight in the hands of adversaries. Subscribe for more.